Yeah, people ask me what it's like opening day week. It's feel like a parent. You're 3 days before Christmas. You're excited to watch the kids tear open the presents under the tree. That's kind of the same feeling, just the anticipation of something awesome. And we just feel like our training has been great. The preparation couldn't have gone any better, and we're ready. The hay is in the barn, and it's just time to start playing and really having some fun out on this field.
Coach, you got your...
When last you visited there, when you were outfield, there's some question marks there. How settled into that, and what the lineup's going to look like early on?
Yeah, so there's 8 guys in the outfield that could all start on any given day. We had a couple of nicks and bumps and bruises last week. Collision, a sprained ankle. Will Taylor's still trying to get to 100%. So I think that's the one area of the field where we'll see the most moving pieces, if you will. And not because we're not set on it, but just because we have a lot of very good and capable outfielders that need reps. So some of it will be just guys getting back to 100%, and some of it is just trying to, as we figure out what the best 9 guys are, giving some guys some opportunities. And said this before, we feel like we've got very good depth on this team on the pitching side and on the position player side. Those are good problems to have. So we not only have some older returning players on this team that have credentials either in this program or in college baseball, we've got some young guys that need to get opportunities as well, so they can continue to develop and they can help us win for sure.
Who was involved in the collision?
That was Nate Call and Tristan Pacetta, but that one did not affect Tristan Pacetta. Nate was out a couple days last week, but he's actually fine now. Tyler Corbin sprained his ankle, and Will Taylor's still coming back, but I fully anticipate those guys will be able to participate in some capacity this weekend.
Did Will suffer some kind of setback, or is he just sort of...
No, I think this is just the return to play protocol from our medical team. Yeah, it's not an exact science. There's some days are better than others, but when he's been healthy out there and making highlight reel webs and catches, it's been fun to watch. But I think just still building up to that consistency of being able to go 100% each day is not quite there yet. But when he is out there, he's very dynamic and explosive.
What will your rotation look like this weekend?
So all of these roles we're going to actually talk to our team about first. We haven't, my philosophy is we'll get everyone in the classroom. I'll do a PowerPoint and put everyone's role on the board so there's zero ambiguity and everybody knows going into the opening weekend what their role is. And I haven't done that yet. That'll take place either today or tomorrow in our class, probably tomorrow in our classroom setting. So, I think just looking at a guy like Ryan Ammons, moving him from the closer role to a starting role, we didn't move him to that role to start on Tuesdays. Like his makeup, his character, his toughness, his work ethic, his leadership, that's the type of guy you want. Set the tone every single weekend. So I would expect to see him on Friday. But we have the pitching staff this year where we don't need our starters to go 7 or 8 innings. We've just got enough depth where we may not need that guy to go through the lineup that 3rd time or the 4th time. There's just a lot of really good pitchers. Coach Bellinger has just done a phenomenal job of getting all these guys to attack the strike zone. It's like embedded in a daily regimen of the best pitchers and best pitching staffs consistently pound the strike zone. It's always known that about him, just playing his teams on the other side, but now seeing how he reinforces it on a daily basis, it's really good.
Last season, the weekend starters, there was a lot of fluidity there. Do you expect that to be the case this year, or 2 or 3 guys kind of separated themselves a little bit, aside from Ryan?
Yeah, I'd say there's probably 5, 6, or 7, depending You know, the guys that we are looking at in that starter role, and philosophically, again, a guy like Tristan Smith very easily could start from a physical ability standpoint, but philosophically just never really put freshmen into that role opening weekend. We didn't do that with David Price at Vanderbilt, but if you were to say to me, hey, I bet Tristan Smith is going to be a weekend starter by the end of the year, middle of the year, I'd say, yeah, you could see that. But we've got a lot of veteran pitchers that, they've always had the stuff from the neck down. They've had good arms, good fastballs, good breaking balls, and now it's, just harnessing that stuff and being able to command it like they want to. And so they've made a lot of strides in that department. So hopefully we won't have, that fluidity, but it's college baseball and those types of things happen at times. But been very impressed with our overall pitching staff.
So you're not naming an opening day starter, but you dropped a pretty big hint to the people in.
Yeah.
Okay. When did that conversion to making a starter begin? In the fall, or when you evaluate that?
I think we just started discussing it in the summer. Just looking at, Brian is one of our most talented pitchers, and just wanting to have him impact the game consistently as much as he possibly can. And we all know that a closer is a very important role, but there's times where you have such a big lead you don't need to get to the closer or whatever the case may be. So just getting one of our best arms to have that consistency of knowing that that he's out there week in and week out in the same role, and he's really taken to it. The routine is different from getting ready to pitch. Before it's like, hey, go get hot, you're in 5 minutes. And now he's got the full starters routine, but I think his mentality is the same. And the mentality is he's going to go out there and close the first inning, and then he's going to go out and close the second inning, and then the third, and do that as many times as he can. I think that's the right mindset, because that's one of his biggest strengths.
With Caden Grice, local guy, obviously had a standout freshman season. The production was a little bit down last year. What conversations did you have with Caden this offseason, and where do you think his mindset is heading into this year?
I think he's in a great spot right now. Caden, as we all know, he's an incredible physical specimen. If you were going to draw, a left-handed power hitter, that's the body and the frame and the athleticism he draw. He can run as well. So I think getting him back over to first base, having a super athlete over there, big target, and keeping him engaged in the defense is going to be helpful for his offense. But offensively, he's really brought in this entire year of just making better plate decisions and understanding that he doesn't have to do too much to really impact the ball. He's one of the few guys in this country that can miss-hit a home run. And so sometimes when guys like that, they try to overswing and overdo it, things, the consistency and the quality of the contact can go down. But he's really bought into that, of just being super selective, and then he's really bought into the two-strike approach and just putting the barrel on it. Some of the most impressive at-bats I've seen this year in the fall and the preseason have been him with 2 strikes, of just simplifying, putting the bat on the ball. And it's amazing with a guy like that, with those long levers and that body strength. Sometimes less is more, and he's impacted the ball really, really hard with that 2-strike approach. So he's been awesome. You always hope that the upperclassmen are receptive to making adjustments and new things, and all of these guys have been. So I'm excited for Caden and the type of season that he's capable of having.
Good. Your ball club last year, this looks like the batters were pretty patient. Your pitchers were afraid to decide. That kind of what you like, is that the optimal style? Those core principles preached here in this process?
Sure. Yeah. Offensively, we consider ourselves a super run scoring unit, not a bunch of independent contractors. And I think a lot of times nowadays kids go up to the plate not thinking about being connected with the other guys in the lineup, and you've got a job to do until you reach home plate, and more just trying to get their best swing off for Twitter. And that's just a mistake, because this is team baseball and we're playing team offense. So having that dynamic balance of speed and power has been a staple of all of our teams at Michigan. And when we've had that combination, we've scored a lot of runs because we could weaponize the long ball, the stolen base, just putting pressure on teams. I wouldn't say we bunt a lot, but we certainly have it in our arsenal and we can utilize it. And that's just the thing. You just never want to be a one-dimensional offense. You don't want to only be able to score when you hit the three-run homer. You want to be able to score in a lot of ways because there's going to be plenty of days where the wind's blowing in or you're facing a really tough pitcher or you're playing at a huge ballpark and the home run's not available. And so they've really bought into that idea of thinking more of the offense about scoring runs than about swings.
From a pitching standpoint, I think you guys are up there among hitting batters, but that's not always a bad thing.
Well, that was more out of necessity last year. We probably, pointing the thumb, mistakenly put too much of a target on developing stuff and not really harnessing the command, which is why Coach Bellinger has been such a breath of fresh air, just because he harps on it daily about command and throwing strikes. But it's very easy in today's age to get caught up in technology, and there's some bullpens that I've seen, online. It looks like they're launching a rocket, not throwing a bullpen, and so it's just it's some kids get caught up in that, some coaches get caught up in that. I'd say we got caught up in that a little bit too much last year, more on developing the movement of the pitches, whether it was induced vertical break or horizontal break, more so than this is college baseball and command wins. And so we shifted at the end of the year and we're just going to pitch inside. We're going to attack and more of a mindset thing. It suited us. It suited the personality of the team.
How familiar were you with Jimmy when you first got this job, and why did you specifically target him?
So Jimmy tells the story of when he was a 23-year-old recruiting coordinator at Monmouth. He couldn't rent a car yet, and so he would bum rides from other coaches. And so I guess he hit me up and got in the car going to the next event or the next field. I don't remember that, but I got to know Jimmy's work when I left Maryland for Michigan. Coach Sheff and Jimmy Bellinger and Matt Swope, that was the staff that took over. And so seeing how well Jimmy did going to 2 super regionals with that Maryland team and really just taking them to unprecedented heights, and then seeing what he did at Kentucky super regional in year 1, and then his team to Florida State, and all 3 weekend starters on Team USA. It was always uncomfortable playing his teams. We played at Michigan, we played Maryland, and we played Kentucky, and it just was smothering. It just was always uncomfortable because their staff would just pound the strike zone. And now I've got to see that firsthand this year and seen our players be the benefactors of it.
Coach, Riley Bertram has played for you for a long time. Tell us a little bit about him and what he will bring to this team.
Riley's a winner. He's the youngest of 4 brothers. He's tough. He's that how to win awareness gene. He's got it. And whatever he lacks in tools and physicality, he makes up for with tremendous baseball IQ, tremendous baseball savvy and smarts. He's got a knack for performing in the clutch. He's just very mentally tough, very consistent, plays very good defense, and he's a leader. He's a talker. He's vocal out there. He's just a winning player, and he makes winning plays. So having him come over to Clemson was something that was very important for us. Helping solidify an infield. We didn't know at the time that Ben Blackwell was coming back, but now that Ben is back, and we've got an infield like we have with Blake Wright, Ben Blackwell, Riley Bertram, Caden Rice, and that put our infield up athletically and from an experience and talent standpoint up with anybody. They've been very dynamic, very good, and Riley's one of those guys that's just out there talking. It's the little things. It's something as simple as a catch or throw going away, getting into center field, but he's holding the tag on the runner, or a guy stealing a base and a pop fly goes up and he's pretending to turn a double play to get the runner to slide. And he's just all these little things that would never show up in the scorebook. He's just really good at all of those.
How was Cooper Eagles' health, and kind of what role do you anticipate him to start the year?
So Cooper is still coming back from the arm, and I'd say there are days kind of like Will Taylor where he's 100%, it looks awesome, it looks amazing, it looks dynamic, but I don't envision that he's going to be able to catch every single game back there. There's going to be plenty of days where he needs somebody to step in and give him a break, and luckily we have Jacob Carroll, who's a very good freshman player that has come in and really developed and done a very nice job with the pitching staff and as a receiver and thrower, and he's got some pop in his bat. So you're going to see Jacob Carroll in there a lot. Obviously Cooper is an elite hitter, has some of the best bat-to-ball skills of anyone in college baseball, but he's not going to be able to catch every single game, at least early on.
Not catching.
Yeah. It all. Well, no, he's that type of player, but it all making sure he's healthy and feels good. But yeah, you would think so.
Is anybody else that be limited or not available this weekend?
We have, I think, like everyone has, we have some bumps and nicks and bruises and guys still progressing back. But there's nothing that is alarming that's going to keep anyone out for an extended period of time. But like any college team, you know, nobody's ever 100% all the time. So we're not 100% right now, but it's not going to be anything that's going to stop us from competing at a high level.
Jack Legacy, you brought back to the program. What's the role look like back?
Well, Coach Leggett, you know, his fingerprints are all over the stadium, all over this program. His title is program development. I'd say that's the all-encompassing role because he touches every aspect of the program. He can't coach on the field, but he can coach the coaches. And he's been very instrumental in just passing along those words of wisdom and those nuggets for our coaching staff, just because he's seen so much baseball, not only on this field, but in college baseball. But he can also be a mentor to the players, and he can give them those same words of wisdom and advice, just more life skills, and just referencing back to some of the players on the teams that he's had. And then all those players that he coached for 24 years, those guys, having Coach Leggett re-engage with the program means 24 years worth of Clemson baseball alumni are also re-engaged with the program. And it just feels like this Clemson family and this Clemson baseball family is reconnected at the highest level possible right now.
In getting to know these players over the last few months, what do you think is one quality that all of them possess that you think will really help them succeed?
Personally, I just appreciate their buy-in. They're all in, buy-in. They have all. There's plenty of guys out there that have credentials that are returning starters and earned preseason accolades, but they've all been willing to make adjustments to try new things. This fall was different because there was a huge focus of their development off the field, in the community, academically, shifting the target off of them as baseball players, putting it on other people and serving other people. And you know, that part of that could be COVID related, where there weren't as many opportunities the last few years to get out in the community, but now many of them have had the chance to do that, and they did it eagerly with a smile and could see just how beneficial it was to get engaged with this Clemson community, from young kids reading in schools to, you know, assisted living to last week's Night to Shine to everything in between. It's just been phenomenal.
What do you feel good about? Maybe what do you still have questions about?
I feel good about our talent. I feel good about our preparation. I feel good about everything we've done to get our team ready to play. The question mark I have is the response to adversity, and that's every coach's question because we just haven't seen it. We saw a little bit of just looking at last year's stats in seasons past, where a little bit of a roller coaster, you know, and just want to see them be able to respond when something bad happens on the field. And we've really tackled that in a very good way, just with the ability to say good. You know, we're not that bad that we need every call from the umpires. We're not that bad that we need every ball to bounce our way. So just getting them to understand that we're going to take that gut punch, we're going to get hit in the face, but we're going to get up when we get knocked down and keep moving forward. It's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to be about it and do it. So that's the one thing I'm excited to see is all this mental toughness training, all this, really pushing their limits and their boundaries and getting them out of their comfort zone, getting them comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm excited to see how it shows up on the field when we're trailing in the 8th or the 9th, or the team jumps out to an early lead, or guys feel like they're getting, they're on the wrong side of a lot of calls. Let's see our response there.
How much fun is this weather for you? I imagine in Ann Arbor it was a bit of a challenge filling the stands in early mid-February.
Well, we weren't playing in Ann Arbor in mid-February. I can't believe it. I was actually hoping we would get some cold weather days, some rainy days, something where we could actually train in the adverse weather, but the good Lord didn't dial that up. He dialed up sunny and 60s, and what's today, 67 and sunny, so it's been amazing. I can't believe how good the weather is down here. But I've said this a million times too. The bad weather in Michigan is what made those teams tough. And if we didn't have the bad weather, we would not have been as good as we were because we didn't play as good.
So do you need something like that down here? How do you see the toughness down there?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm excited to see how we handle the gut punch because the ACC is going to be an absolute slugfest. You got heavyweights going at it all the time, and there's a lot of close games in this conference. Just having spent 11 years in the ACC and the SEC, everybody's good. Everybody's well coached. Everybody's got dudes. And how are you going to be able to handle the adversity and be able to get back up when you get knocked down and be able to come back, fight, scratch, claw your way back into a game and get behind? So those are the ways that we're going to be challenged, I'd say, more so than a snowy day in Clemson, South Carolina.
Expectations are a thing that outsiders want to talk about, where you can finish in the standings and accomplishments you can have throughout the year. How do you manage that with your guys? What is your approach to handling expectations of accomplishing things, not just wins and losses?
Yeah, well, personally, I think the College World Series is the standard for Clemson baseball. We shouldn't deviate from that, even though we haven't been since 2012. Clemson baseball is still Clemson baseball. It's a blue blood. We're working very hard to restore Clemson baseball to its rightful place on top of college baseball. So you have the long-term goal. We want to win the program's first ever national championship. And if we don't do that, we at least finish the season in Omaha where we belong. And then you scale it all the way back down to just the power of one. One day, one game, one inning, one pitch, one meeting, one breath, one rep, one whatever. And just put your focus on that in the moment and just keep getting better. We're going to need all those opportunities to grow and improve if we're going to be an Omaha team at the end. Nobody's going to Omaha this month. But that's how we do it. We know where the destination is, but then we keep the target squarely in front of us. Whatever we're doing right now is the most important thing we're doing.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.